Hey guys, welcome back to another success story interview. My name is Milan, the co-founder of Break Into Tech, and today I am doing a success story interview with one of our best students ever, Maha. She landed a tech sales job in just under 2 months as a recent graduate, and today we're going to talk about her experience of going through the program, landing a tech sales job, and you guys will learn everything that you need to learn about making a decision to join Break Into Tech and to pursue a career in tech sales. Okay? So with that out of the way, Maha, could you please give us a quick introduction about you, your background, where you're from?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, I am a relatively recent graduate. I went to Henley Business School and I studied business management. I did specialize in marketing, and that was initially the intended career path, but I was very uninterested in the roles that were available to me after uni. I thought that they were all quite boring, similar to what I had been doing in my internships, and it wasn't exciting. I mean, you leave uni and you're expecting to start a big career and like you've got all these ambitions, but that wasn't correlating for me. So yeah, I've been freelancing for a while, working across many sectors and also many functions, and kind of like making my own grad role. I've had a lot of exciting opportunities, but it was kind of time to settle down into one role.
Okay.
And for me, I knew it was tech sales. I think it's where my personality is, and of course, as we all know, it's where the money is.
Yeah.
It's what's booming. So I knew that I wanted to do that, but it's so competitive, and I had no idea how to get into it. So
Awesome.
Break Into Tech was my answer.
I always like to ask the students this question, which is, what tech sales job did you land? So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the role that you landed, maybe the industry?
Yeah, so I'm going to be selling cloud infrastructure to companies who work with a lot of data, fast moving data. We're talking trading, energy, commodities. So that is basically a lot of industries. Like commodities is everything, and energy, of course, and you can trade anything. So there's overlap there, of course, with energy and whatnot. But I'm really excited. It's an SDR role. I'll be the first SDR in the London office. They're an American company.
Wow.
So it's a great opportunity to really make an impact as they're growing.
That's awesome. So you landed a sales development representative job at this American tech company. Let me ask you this as well. Before joining Break Into Tech, what were you doing? Did you have any tech experience? Did you have any sales experience? And I'll tell you why I'm asking this, because a lot of people think they see someone young, like a young person like you, or like the 500 other people that we've helped get into tech sales and make six figures. They always think to themselves, this is too good to be true. You need 10 years of experience. You need a PhD. You need to be an Oxford grad. What experience did you have?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to get into tech sales about a year before I found out what Break Into Tech was.
Wow.
And I was freelancing, but I didn't know how to get the experience. I knew I had all of those soft skills. So I did, I mean, with my freelancing roles, just shift, and I had that relationship with them. But one thing I did do, which anyone can do, is I took a role at a bar, and it actually was for the whole reason of gaining sales experience. I knew I wanted to do this, but can I actually do it? So I had been slowly building up my experience also with tech, because I was already working with a tech company, but I don't have any fancy degree. I don't have any hardcore like years of SaaS down my belt. I did pivot intentionally, but that was after I'd already made the decision.
So you didn't have any B2B sales experience, and you didn't have any tech experience, and you definitely didn't have a PhD and 10 years of experience in business to break into a role like this.
Definitely no PhD. Definitely not.
Why did you want a career in tech sales? Why tech sales and not something else?
Well, I was really annoyed leaving uni and seeing the marketing roles. I enjoyed studying it so much, but when you're studying, you're actually doing the big campaigns, you're doing that. Obviously, you're not doing them, but you're planning them all out. And especially at the uni I went to. And then seeing the job roles that were being described, it was a glorified assistant. And they are actually all marketing assistants. And it takes you so many years to get to that lower mid level. And then once you get to the higher level, you're at the same level that people are at entry level in other industries.
Wow.
And I'm an ambitious person, and I also think that I've got skills to give, and I think everyone has skills to give that would be better compensated elsewhere. And you see it all the time. I mean, I actually was thinking, like, there's a bartender at the bar I used to work at, and he's still doing it. But I think if he joined BIT, he would be your best student. He's sick, and he very much has no tech experience or whatnot. But it's more about your personality and your drive, and realizing that and what you can achieve. And I guess I made that decision.
Love that. You said you knew about wanting to break into tech sales and work in tech sales about a year before you joined the Break Into Tech program. What were your challenges before joining Break Into Tech? Like, why didn't you do this by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we briefly touched on this before we started recording, but for me, I do have ADHD, and I've said this before, it is my greatest strength and also my greatest weakness. And I think, especially in this job market, it is so difficult to learn a new skill, job hunting, and also in a new arena, tech sales, and keep at it, apply, especially when it's so competitive. You really do need that community, and and that's what I was missing. I didn't know for sure if I was doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing, and it was just, I was in the dark. I didn't actually land a single interview in my whole time applying until I joined Break Into Tech. It just illuminated to me all the things I was doing right and all the wrong, rather. There was very little I was doing right. But it also just made me realise that I thought it was so much more complicated than it was.
Right.
Like, I thought I had to have a PhD to break into tech. But really, it's just about knowing how to sell yourself in this market. And that's why I needed Break Into Tech. I needed the discipline, I needed the mentorship, and I needed that clarity on how to proceed.
How do you feel as a woman, let's say, working in a more of a male-dominated industry, which is sales, right? So how would you advise other women that are wanting to break into tech sales because they want to have a good career progression, they want to make as much money as possible, they want to work remotely, they want to work on something exciting, and they want to make good commissions, which is possible in sales? How would you advise other women and make them feel more comfortable about wanting to work in tech sales?
We talk about this a lot, like investing, and I think that you have to invest in yourself. It's the best investment you're ever going to make. And I think if you're even considering it, you have this inclination that you would be good at it, or it's something that you want to be good at. And sales is nothing but trial and error. And if you're willing to give it that go, take that leap and invest in yourself. We need more women in all of these industries, especially when it's more disadvantaged. And women in STEM, I mean, what is the T in STEM? Technology. So get onto it, I think. In our program, there's so many women. I've been inspired and motivated by the women in this program. I've also I've become a member of a women in sales group.
Wow. Okay.
Once you get into it, you realise that there's a lot of really loud women in this industry. So it's where you want to be.
I agree. A lot of the really successful students that we've had have actually been women, right? Because they really resonate with Laura's story, my partner's story, because she used to work in law and she hated her job. Like, she really did, even though she invested like 8 years of her life. She didn't get much out of it. Very toxic. Even law is obviously very male dominated, but it's different to tech sales because it's toxic as hell, right? Let me ask you this. What were the most helpful parts of the Break into Tech program, what helped you the most, and what would you say is like the most helpful parts of the program?
I would say the community for sure, and the resources. The community in terms of that discipline, which is what I needed, and was a big problem for me. But the resources are really what is going to fine tune your process, and that's what's going to make you stand out and make you know what you're doing isn't futile. But also, sorry, just you mentioning Laura, that touched on something I think about the whole women in tech. I think it's really important because in all other industries, we know it's a huge problem. The gender pay gap, not being compensated, A, for what you're doing, and then B, on top of that, because of your gender. And sales is entirely a meritocracy. Your pay is dependent on your numbers, and you can't fake that. So I think it's a huge opportunity for women who are experiencing that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's probably one of the only jobs out there where you're paid for your talent and your results. So I totally agree. What would you say to everyone else watching this today, considering joining Break into Tech?
Do it. Like, there's no lose in this situation. You're learning, you're developing, and you're doing it amongst great people. I think it's one of the best choices I've made in my life.
It's amazing to hear. Maybe one final question. Give people a sense of what kind of money you can make in your 20s, because you're really young. You're like, in your early 20s. What is the earning potential in like tech sales from what you've seen in your company or other women that you've spoken to?
I'm the youngest out of my siblings, and I will now be out earning all of them. So I think
That's amazing.
Just by that metric, there's a lot to be done.
From what you've seen, what kind of numbers are we talking here? 100K?
Easy in the multiple 100Ks, and I mean, if you get into it in your 20s, you can easily be in those super high paying roles by the end of your, I imagine if I do continue on, and also deciding what path I want to be, but there's for sure a tangible opportunity for me to be making a lot of money in the next couple of years, which I'm very excited about.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny because I have to ask these questions because when I post about my journey from where I was at in 2020 to now, sometimes people think like it's not real. Like in the UK, people are so skeptical, so pessimistic. They can't believe that a random guy can be making 200K a year. Like they think that's impossible. Like that's out of reach. Like it's like as if I've been to the moon and back. That's what people think when I tell them what my salary is or how we've helped 20-year-olds make 65, 75K a year. You know what I mean?
Also, I think that we also need to realize that these things are happening, and it's not behind closed doors anymore. And you are able to get into this role. You are able to get into these situations, and like you said, it's not about your PhD, it's about you and how much work you put into it. So I think this is part of the reason why people are so skeptical about how can you actually break into tech. This seems too good to be true. But look on LinkedIn, then the roles are out there, the pay's out there.
Yeah, that's why we called it Break into Tech, to help other people break into tech. Final question. You landed like 15 to 16 tech sales interviews as a recent graduate, basically in a couple of weeks. What are your top 3 tips for other graduates to land 15, 16 interviews in a month?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many different ways, and of course you've got the success stories on your page. Like some people cold call, some people posting on LinkedIn with the cold calling, whatever. I think it's about working smarter, not harder. Find one thing and run with it. For me, that was being super meticulous about every word I put into my LinkedIn. I thought that I might not have the best experience, but I can make it the best written LinkedIn and make it shoot to the top of those search engine platforms. I can narrow myself down into the recruiter's eye line. So that's what I did. And I got a lot of inbound leads from that, which obviously made it really helpful. But of course, you mentioned, I can't remember who it was, but the person who posted their LinkedIn, and they just got a lot of attention from that. I think you've just got to find one thing to push your visibility out there, and then it's going to come rolling in, because there's no shortage of SDR roles. They're just looking for the best.
Thank you so much, Maha, for your time. I wish you all the best. Of course, like everyone else in the program, you have lifetime access to all of the resources. If there's anything we can help you moving forward, please do reach out. Any final words?
Yeah, everyone break into tech.
Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Well,
thanks
again for your time. I'll end the call, and all the best.
Thanks, Bilal.